Well, Harry Styles is one of the biggest stars in the world right now, but will he remain popular forever? Trends come and go. One day they're in, next day they're out. But why do some take off in the first place? David Marx says they each have a magic ingredient known as status, and it's the elusive social currency that Hollywood was built on. His book is called Status and Culture: How Our Desire for Social Rank Creates Taste, Identity, Art, Fashion, and Constant Change.
David Marx joins us this morning. Hi, David.
How you doing? Good morning.
Good to have you with us. When you say status, that's kind of vague. Can you be more specific? Is it about my status of my coolness, my toughness, or what is it?
Absolutely. I think we think a lot about status as a middle-class person in a middle-class neighborhood trying to outdo their neighbors. And I mean it as a much more complex thing than that, which is we're all in groups. Those groups have hierarchies. We have a position in that hierarchy, and it determines how much we have to follow the rules of the group, how much we can look for different things, how much we want different things. There's people who have low status who need to get up to normal status. There's people who have normal status and want to leave the group to go form a subculture, et cetera, et cetera. So our social position really determines our lifestyles. And I'm looking at the link between how people want to move up in these hierarchies and how it generally forms the thing we know as culture and these popular trends that happen.
We're using Harry Styles as an example. I'm sure there's 100 singers that say, I can sing better than Harry, I'm better looking than Harry. Why is he the most popular singer? How do you measure that? What causes something to take off?
Well, he has coolness, and he's well known, but he's got a whole machine behind him. And what we have in society today, we have so many choices with the internet. And one of the things that Harry Styles has, if someone likes Harry Styles, if you talk about Harry Styles, someone else will know who that is. And so that kind of fame and popularity has a social value that we can go to our friends and talk about Harry Styles. It could be ironic, maybe we don't like Harry Styles, but we know the other person will know it. And so right now, one of the things that's happening is people like Justin Bieber and Harry Styles are becoming even more popular because the internet is making so many things available, and so few of them have meanings that really transcend and connect to more people, that people like Harry Styles are becoming even more popular than before.
But then how much of it is really authentic? We're looking to others to help build our identity.
That's a really complex thing. The language you use is from other people as well, and the meanings that we take in from all of our own choices are from other people. And the choices we're making usually are not necessarily expressing ourselves, but classifying us in other groups. So that line between what is authentic or not is really difficult. Obviously, authenticity can be good when it's a group of people doing things for a long time and building a tradition and taking a lot of meaning from that, but also can be quite a prison if you're told you can only do things from your original community. So, authenticity is something we really focus on these days, but at the same time, we live in a world where you have lots and lots of choices, and I don't think people should be too bogged down by always trying to be authentic.
It's easy to say, but how do you get people off of that? There's kids today who just want to be popular. They don't care why they're famous. They just want to be famous.
That's really difficult because right now the most famous people tend to be the people who have hacked the system to be popular. In theory, all of society is supposed to be rewarding people with status who have made these great contributions. And the thing about fame is it's kind of a hack in that you're getting fame for being famous. You don't have to necessarily do the contributions. And social media has obviously created all these new platforms where people can do that. So the natural incentive is that people will, young kids in particular, are going to want to do more of this. But that's where the status is right now. Being, anyone can broadcast anyone around the world and build global audiences, and those global audiences respond really well to things that are kind of easy to understand. So the other thing here is not just that everyone wants to be a social media star, but the kind of content that's popular on social media tends to be, someone may describe it as lowest common denominator culture, but really easy to understand. And so that's had a huge effect on the kind of culture that kids are creating now. When I was a kid, everything was offline, and there was a little cults of pockets of behavior, and we're all trying to outdo each other by being weird. But when you're trying to attract a global audience and connect to people who may not even understand your language, obviously you're trying to do things that have more mass appeal.
All right, for more, check out David's website and social media. The information is on your screen. David, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.